What's up, YouTube? It's NG, and I'm back. And today I'm into the Galaxy Z Flip. I've now had this device for a work week, 5 days. Good thing is I got to use it over the weekend. Take it through some of its paces to really get a feel for it. Trust me, I'm still in the honeymoon phase with the device. There's no way I can say that I've done everything there is to do. I'm still kind of enamored with it. But overall, I just wanted to share again some of what I found and my thoughts on where these foldables are going, especially with this form factor. Now, as most of you know, if you've watched anything, I started my channel with the Galaxy Fold. There's so much to talk about with this phone and where folding phones are going from a phone to a tablet in one easy movement is a miracle of technology. Before, you had to have your phone in one pocket, your tablet in your bag, and you'd have to switch between the devices depending on the work you were trying to do. With this tech, once it becomes more mainstream, it will no longer be the issue. And till this day, I still stay with the point that I think having a foldable like this, from phone to tablet, is the way the foldable space should go. But it just makes more sense. Larger screen, folded small, fit in your pocket, you're good to go. No more need to have multiple devices unless you really want to. And with the specs that are coming out, a lot of these devices rival most laptops. A lot of these devices, at least this price range, have more RAM and memory than many of your laptops. Once they begin to optimize apps for these kind of devices, many of you won't actually need a laptop anymore unless it's to get into those really demanding technical uploads and renderings and all of that. But I digress. This is the Fold. This is the Flip. Now, I have to say about this device, as you can see, it folds, or it flips, and then it unflips into what is essentially a Galaxy S10. That's what this is. A Galaxy S10 that can flip over. Now, I have to say, when I first got the device, I wasn't all that impressed with the fact that it can fold. Actually, to be honest, I'm still not that impressed because I've had the Fold for so long. Seeing a device that can fold doesn't really blow my mind as much as many others. But what I am impressed with is the hinge. Being able to hold the device, or the device to be able to hold its shape in any of these points. Well, it's mainly this point, but this is where they have little software features that take advantage of this. Like I said before, I think it's called the flip mode. Shout out to Buster Rhymes. Now, what I find particularly interesting with this device is how, as much as I don't like to quote The Verge, how normal this device feels. Yes, you have a foldable device, 6 point whatever inches. I don't know the exact specs, but truth be told, when you unfold it, you really do feel like you're just using an S10, or in my case, a Note without the S Pen. It is really just that. So the question is, why would you, if you were in the market for a new smart device, or just want another smart device, and perhaps you're someone like me who just likes to have multiple devices for the sake of having them, why would you spend so much more, that premium price, for something that is reminiscent or almost identical to what is essentially last year's flagship device? And it's very simple, to be honest. You're paying for this. You're paying to have it fold. But along with that fold, you're paying for something I can honestly say, in my opinion, most phones haven't done in a long time. You're paying for the fun of it. This phone is genuinely fun to use. Is it practical? By no means. I can honestly say having to unfold the device when I take it out of my pocket is really that extra step so many people complain about. I don't much feel it when I use the fold. Why? The fold unfolds really easy. This hinge here is really hard to fold. It's, what's the term I'd like to use? This hinge mechanism to allow it to keep its shape is really strict in its movement. You like to open this thing with one hand is not a particularly easy feat. It can be done. I mean, to even flip it open takes a little bit of wrist movement that, if you have bad wrist, you may not want to actually do. Whereas with the fold, there's almost no resistance at all when you actually want to use this thing. It really just opens up and you are good to go. Very easy. Yes, it doesn't hold its shape, but you could use it as a semi-typing instrument screen up here, keyboard down there. It does work. But the thing about the flip is it actually is made for this type of thing. See here, you can do it. You have your text, you have your keyboard, but this thing does wobble around. But when you're on a desk, just because there's a locking mechanism here that you have to push through to lock it down, it won't really move. But there are no software enhancements to the fold that take advantage of that, because it wasn't made for that. It was made to use in tablet mode, or when closed, a somewhat small phone mode. With this guy, they added those extra little features for when it is at its angle in fold mode. Now, one of the easiest ways to show this is when you go into your gallery mode. I happen to take a few pictures of my kids at an event, or one kid in particular, because she was being all up in the way. As you can see, if you look at that, there goes my daughter Naima, and then when you just flip the screen halfway closed, the picture moves up to the top. It allows you to navigate at the bottom of the phone. Do you need to touch the top? I mean, you could, but let's say you have the phone down on a table, like I did when I was taking these pictures, and you might want to show somebody or review it. It comes in very handy to have it like this. At the same time, when watching YouTube or a video or anything like that, a lot of the Samsung apps just work very well in this form factor. They've been optimized to use this little hinged shape here, and it really does work. It's just a fun little extra, and that's, I guess, my biggest takeaway from being able to use this device like I have. It's actually enjoyable to use. It doesn't offer anything extraordinary. I mean, it does have Android 10, and personally, this is my first experience with Android 10 on a Samsung device, because if you haven't known, if you don't know, Samsung has not given much support to the Galaxy Fold since it was re-released last year, September or October. It's an odd situation for us Fold owners. Every other device is being updated and getting beta tests and everything. The cheaper ones, older, newer, and the Fold has just been stuck in a weird software limbo for months now. I hear that in April they're going to release the Android 10 update for the Fold along with their other uh, tablets that are currently running Android 9. So I mean, I guess they view it as a tablet, so it's in the same space as tablets for updates. That's all I can assume. But you would think with their most expensive mobile device thus far that they would it would get precedent over the other ones as far as updates and software updates and such, but really nothing at all. Whereas this device here came with Android 10 out of the box, and I have to say, Android 10, along with the novelty of being able to fold this device and use it in various ways for picture taking and viewing media and sending text, making calls. It really does make it a joy to use. I like to write a lot, whether it's character profiles or I try and do personal blogs and novels, things along those lines. So I do have Word on every device. You know, some people say use Google, whatever their version of a Word is. But I do prefer Microsoft Word. I used it in high school. It just never left me. But with this, and I think it's due to because they now have a collaboration with Microsoft. They have this updated version of Word, and when you go into it, you see it does something real simple. You can start to do your writing and what have you. The keyboard pops up, but it works just as well. It is almost designed that keyboard at the bottom, your writing up top, and you can use your swipe and all that, write whatever you want to write, and it's like a mini word processor on your phone. Is it the biggest space? Not at all. But if you just have a quick idea you want to jot down, not that you can just pick up any phone and just hold it in your hand and type, but if you're on a table and you don't want to hold it in your hand, due to the form factor, you don't have to. It's just a fun little option. And I think that's the best way I can describe using this device. It is enjoyable to use. It's not changing anything except for the folding aspect. It's definitely not going to outperform any of the newer or even current flagships. This is really strictly last year's specs in a phone. But if you were to pull out your S10 or your Note 10 or your Huawei P20 or your Vivo this or your Oppo that, or even the Sony Xperia 1, any of the flagships from last year, and you were to use them as your regular daily driver, I can almost guarantee this one would be the most enjoyable phone. Not the most powerful phone, but there's an air of just joy and freedom when you use this. It's just a joy. It really is. Samsung did a really good job with just making this phone accessible. Yes, having to open it is extra, but you know what I found when I was at church? I was able to fold and put it in my top shirt pocket, and it was just gone. Not a big deal, but that was never something I was able to do before. I had to put my phones in my pants pocket or whatever because they're large phones, large screens. You know, you need to see what you're doing. This one allowed me to do that and just throw it right in, and it was just different, and it felt good to be able to do that. So that's what this phone really is. I can honestly say that this is probably the best so far, just everyday device. You don't buy this if you're a power user and you need all the high end specs, or if you're an enthusiast who just wants the best of everything. This is really what you buy if you just want a good phone to use for the everyday. It's not waterproof. The screen, I mean, I haven't had any issues, but maybe I know how to care foldable phones better than most, simply because I've had one and use it every day since last year. Last year's September, I've had my fold on hand every day, never leaves my side, and there's nothing wrong with my screen at all, unless you count the crease, which can be helped because it has to fold. But this here is the everyday device. It really is. It's not doing anything more so than any other phone. It's not going to beat any other phones in specs. At least none of the phones for this year. But it is more enjoyable to use. Even this little thing here, the outside camera, which really makes almost no sense, because this screen is so tiny, you can barely see anything at all. Actually, you can't even see it. Oh, I somehow took a picture. How does that even work? Yeah, you have a really tiny screen right here, and you can zoom in, zoom out with a tap, take a picture. It doesn't really make much sense to use it, but you know what? Because it's using these front cameras, it's fun to use it. When I was taking those pictures with my daughter, that's what we used. We just held the phone up, and when cheese click, and she laughed when she saw how small the screen was, like most would do, but it was usable. And some of those pictures that I did show you were taken with that viewfinder. You can't really line up your shots. It really just click and go. You know, here you go. You take your shot, click, boom, you're good. And when you look at it, it's either came out good or bad. But that's really not what this phone is. You're not going to get this phone for the best camera use or the best selfie, though. Having these two cameras at the front will make for a really good selfie shot, because these are your main cameras, as opposed to the internal camera, which isn't as powerful but takes good shots nonetheless. As far as watching, I need to use my thumb to do the finger scan. As far as watching videos on this, because of its odd aspect, it's a very tall phone. When you're watching YouTube or whatever, Netflix, Hulu, or anything along those lines, you do get some bars. You get a few bars, and it's me. I don't particularly enjoy watching videos on this phone. Maybe it is because I have a fold, and I'm pretty sure that it's the fold's fault. I am spoiled. Yes, you can zoom in, and actually it does cut off a lot because again of the strange aspect ratio to get these things to fit, unless it's made for this screen, like some movies on Netflix and what have you. You get these huge bars, so to fill in those bars, it's going to take up a lot of your screen real estate. Can you watch things like this? Sure. Have I? Yeah. But really, when I want to watch something, this gets put away, and you pull out your fold, and, or in my case, my fold, and the fold is the one device that I can use and enjoy watching anything, because that's what it's there for. Yeah, the picture, I guess, is in the. I pull up my other screen. See, and the cool thing about that one is the fold is one of the few devices I don't have to turn the screen to get a large viewable area. With the fold, boom, large, magnificent screen, and it's beautiful. This one, not so much. I mean, I guess to each their own. you can see for yourself. Actually, this one is actually still zoomed in. And as also, I guess you can see it here, the Fold has a, to me, more color accurate screen. The Flip seems to be, I don't know. I don't know these terms for screens and cameras and all of that, but I don't think I'm particularly so bright, if that's the right thing. But yeah, when it comes to the Z Flip, it's not really something I'd choose to use if I had an option to view things. But then again, the Z Flip is an everyday phone. That's the cool thing. If this was to be your only device, you wouldn't be mad. It's way more interesting than buying a regular S10 or even an S20, an iPhone. All of those phones fail in comparison to this, not because of the specs and the power and all that, but just because of with everyday use, you will, in my opinion, enjoy using this phone way more. It's just the little things that make it a fun device. And that's really the biggest takeaway. I haven't used a fun phone in a long time. I've used very productive phones. My daily driver, the Fold, productive as hell. My Note with the S Pen, productive. My Pixel 3a, which again is a very fun device and with a wonderful camera, but it pales in comparison to how fun it is to use the Z Flip. Just being able to do this and put it away adds so much more to the experience of using the phone. And you may not think so but once you get to use it and you feel it, and you feel this small footprint in your hand, I mean, this is big. There's no denying the Fold is a large phone. Even when you fold it in half, it's a heavy phone. I don't mind the weight. I like having the weight. I like having how narrow it is in the other hand. This one, not as narrow, but it's so light. You really forget that this phone is a premium device. It's so light in the hand as opposed to the Fold, where the Fold will not let you forget how premium it is. Like this guy here can hurt someone if you hit them with it. It's almost like a weapon how heavy it is. But I like that weight. You know, it reassures me that this phone here is durable enough to withstand the daily use I'll put it through, and this phone gets used. This one, I guess it could, but the weight doesn't lend to that feeling of utter security when using this phone. Nor does the feel. It's slippery, really slippery. I actually have the case that it came with, and I mean, I saw it in other previews, and I truly don't know. Let me see if I can take it off. I really don't know if this little case here is doing anything. Wow, yeah, that's actually worse. I was saying I don't know if this case is doing anything more for the phone on or off. It's not really adding much, but I guess with it, I guess it's a little it adds a little more slight width, so there's a little more to grip. But it doesn't really do much. But I throw it on anyway. It came with a case. It's clear. It's not going to hide that beautiful metallic purple, and I love purple. So why not? It came with it. Put it on. Be good. Yeah, so really, I am enjoying using this phone. I got it for the wife, but she's not particularly interested in it. She likes it, but she is really becoming one of them. You know, those who are with the iPhone crowd. She loves her iPhone. She has her S9. It's put at the side. She carries them both around, but her iPhone gets most of her daily use. So even with this one, I was like, well, you know, I got this thing that perhaps you might enjoy something new. And she really said, well, why. I have an iPhone and I have my S9. I'm pretty happy with that combination. Can't falter. The S9 is a wonderful phone, and the iPhone 11, as far as iPhones go, is also a wonderful device. I have one. It doesn't get much use from me, say for the weekends if I'm not using the Pixel. But if I decide to keep this guy, my Pixel and my iPhone will get that much less use. Because even though the camera on the Pixel is way better, there's no question. This camera is nothing to laugh at either. I could get by with using this camera for my shots and having a little flip up to take a selfie while eating dinner or something. But it's just cute. It's not gonna break the mold, but it's just something to do. So yeah, that's pretty much just a quick rant on my weekend with the Z Flip so far. I'm really enjoying it. If you do get a chance to play with one, I mean, I'm not even sure playing with it will do it much justice, because it needs to be taken out and about for you to get the full experience. In the store, you'll probably just open, close, talk some specs with, if the people at the store know what they're talking about, because a lot of times you go to these spots, they have no idea what's going on in the tech space. How they got the jobs in that section, I don't know. Because it's bothersome when you know more than they do, and they try to tell you some bull that you know is absolutely false, and they hope that you are an idiot when it comes to these kind of things. But yeah, again, off on a tangent. That was a recent experience, and it's still bothersome. But this phone here, like I said, the Z Flip, it's not going to change the way you feel about phones. It's great that it flips, where it folds, however you want to say it. That is a nice little perk. Android 10 on this. I don't know if it's different from Android 10 on any other device, at least with any other Samsung device. I do have Android 10 on my Pixel 3 and my Essential phone. But this guy is literally the most fun I've had with a mobile device in a very, very, very long time. The Pixel 3 is fun. Probably the second most fun I've had with a phone since my V20 days, and I really do need to buy that back. But this here, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, this is what I'm into.